everyone. Welcome back to Tea Time Thursdays with Kelly and Priyanka. Yes, you heard it right. This is Thursday, not Tuesday. So we are just migrating from Tuesday to Thursday because we gave a little bit of thought to it and thought that Thursdays are much more relaxing than Tuesdays. So probably you can watch it with a lot more relaxed mind and give some time, think through it, and probably let the information sink in if if you find it valuable. So, and I know that I missed the last episode. I was sick, so I couldn't join Kelly for our last episode. But here I am, back again, and so excited to share again, have conversation with Kelly. So if you remember in episode 2, we spoke about the energy, right? How, like energy attracts like energy. And in episode 1, we spoke about 2 types of energy, catabolic and anabolic. So now in this episode, we are going to talk about, factors or influencers which can support or detract our engagement level, which in turn is going to impact our performance. So in this episode, we will cover 3. And next episode, we are going to cover the rest 3. So there are total 6. So Kelly, what do you think? Would you like to throw some light on influencers or factors which influence us?
Right. So when you mentioned about influences, basically, the first thing that came to mind would be factors that actually affect us, because influence what actually changes us or alters our state of being. So one of the main these are the factors that actually contribute to us either being able to perform really well, to be able to rise up to the occasion, to think really clearly, and to be on our best, or they could actually just be a distraction for us and hinder us at times. And one of these main influences that is very common is the physical influencer. So an example would be, for me personally, I actually am a very I need my sleep a lot. So if at any one point in time, if I do not get the amount of sleep that I really need, I actually do start to feel I'm not myself the next day. I do not perform to the way I would like to. And it really goes against my value because I get a little bit impatient and to put it in layman's terms, I get grumpy, and people around me also, they would feel grumpy at the same time, and it's not nice, right? If you're being snapped at. And I'm not perfect, so sometimes I do feel a little bit short and impatient, and that really goes against my value of harmony, especially in my workplace and as well as my home environment, personal relationships. So that is a great and that is a great piece of the physical part is very important for me, because as people who know me, they know that I really like to take care of myself. And when I don't do that, it automatically changes the way I react and respond to things as well. So I think it's so important, firstly, that if we are aware of it, and that's great. If you're aware that certain things can affect you physically, then at least there is a way for us to take action, right? So, and also, you missed us. I mean, you missed our last episode because you're not well. I'm sure you have something to share about that as well.
Yeah, certainly. And this is such a, I would say, that instance is so apt over here that I felt, and I mean, I also realized that so many times we are not aware of it, because when we are healthy, we don't have any health issues, we take it for granted. We don't even realize that, this is helping us, right? It's only when there is absence of I would say, or rather presence of sickness or illness for that matter in health, is when we understand the importance of health for that matter. And I realized it last week because I was not keeping well. I was not able to focus on anything. I didn't have proper sleep. I was not eating properly. So my entire body was so low, it was just not supporting me. How much high in spirit I was for my work, for my day, because my body was not in sync and it was not healthy. I had a lot of, issues, or rather struggle working.
Right. Just plain performing your daily simple tasks can be a chore or can be so difficult or can be such a struggle to complete. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's totally understandable.
Yeah. And so now let's talk about the another factor which can support if it is present in right balance, or if it is absent, it can detract our engagement. So that is mental. So in mental factor or influencer, I would say it is usually the clarity that we have regarding or regarding a job or a task or anything for that matter. If we are not clear in our head, if we don't have clarity on what we are doing, on anything else for that matter, then that can also impact the engagement level, because I'm not clear about it, right?
Yeah.
And similarly, it is also about feeling a task too easy, or feeling that a task is too challenging.
Right.
Those could also be an example. What do you think about that?
The challenging part, when you mentioned the challenging part, I realized that I used to find a lot of tasks from challenging. But when I actually look back on hindsight right now, they weren't exactly challenging per se. They were only challenging because I dreaded going or even starting the task, simply because I had stress of how the outcome may be. So for example, like you my boss gives me a task and I feel he feels of course that I can do it. Otherwise he wouldn't have assigned it to me, right? Just like in anything in life, we're usually not given what we are not familiar with. It's because people think that we are able to cope. So we're given this task, but somehow internally we block our mental block comes in, because of underlying factors such as fear of failure, not being success, not having the outcome that the people who has assigned it to us, that they want the outcome to be. We're afraid that we will fail them. I mean, for me, in this example, and that already is a big hindrance for me. It kind of like, gives me a little bit of friction, and I would like to move forward, but I'm kind of like procrastinating because I'm afraid, and yeah, it becomes a stressor. And I realized that from friends who have shared with me, or based on some personal experiences, many psychologists have actually prescribed the symptom curer to treat the symptoms. They would do things to help the client treat the symptoms, such as treating the stress. But what about, I realized what was really effective was when I found out what was my underlying stress. So, what was my underlying cause of the stress, which is what I was telling you about, right? Which is about the expectation part and the fear of failure and so on and so forth. But actually, all these were on my head. It wasn't even, none of my colleagues or my boss were like, oh, they didn't even tell me that, oh, you're you're gonna fail, and you better not fail, or like none of them were instilling the fear in me. It was just purely me and my own little stress perfectionist voice speaking, right? So many times I find that when we are able to, and that's when I broke through, because I realized that it was not um it was not even there. It was just all me. And when I realized that, it helped me to get through my tasks easily, and I even actually look forward to work, you know. And this is just a little bit sharing, yeah, based on our personal experience, right, Priyanka? However,
Yeah.
I find that the influences really, they make so much sense. And when I got awareness of it, it just helped me to move forward faster.
Yeah, it certainly. And I would also like to highlight a point over here is it, and I think you might have spoken about earlier at the beginning of the episode. So the thing is, these influencers work in a different way from person to person and situation to situation. For an example, right? For an example, the stress that I might feel while I'm working on a laptop, okay, I would not like it, as opposed to if I am in a sport and if I'm feeling a stress because of the training, I feel good about it because I know that I'm training, right?
Yeah.
So it definitely changes from person to person and situation to situation. And also for the same person, the same influencer can work in a different way in different situations. So just wanted to highlight this point. So now talking about the third influencer or factor which influences our engagement is emotional, right? So in emotional, usually what happens is when our desires are not met, right? That can influence us. When we wish for something and that doesn't happen. For an example, in my company, if I'm working and I desire and wish for a promotion, which I don't get this year, that is going to impact my engagement and my motivation for that matter, right? So for
Yeah.
someone, it can totally detract their engagement. For someone, it can push them forward, saying that, okay, I didn't get it, I'm going to work hard this year so that I get it for sure next year.
Yeah, but
What is your take?
yeah, but when you say like you said, oh, it will either detract them, which will you'll pull them back, or it will push them harder, right? The pushing them harder part, could it be also a mix of the sort of the in our first episode we talked about catabolic energy. So it could very well be a result of that kind of a fear inducing or like stress. I mean, us putting ourselves in the mode of like survival or fight mode, which also in turn releases hormones for us in our body, which is not healthy in the long run. If we were to keep using that mentality to push ourselves forward to get that promotion next year, right? So,
Yeah.
and what you're mentioning suddenly makes me realize that, oh, it's about the attachment to outcome as well. That,
Yes.
sure, promotion is very important. It's something that we put our hard work into and we really hope to get, because of course it would propel us to the next stage in life, in our careers. However, then I was just thinking, what was my emotional influencer? For me, like, maybe not everybody is pushing for, like in your case, it says for you is a promotion, but even simple things such as meeting the needs, like basic security, sense of security in a company, that given the times right now in COVID and pandemic, that the company is not going to do such a major restructuring, or that could displace people out of their jobs. That simple meeting, that simple need of having security in the job, right? Could be just what somebody else desires. So not having that sense of emotional need met, which is security, or even a sense of recognition, for example, appreciation, right? Which is close to my heart. Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to be appreciated for their work? These things actually, whether we are aware of it, it affects us so subtly that we are not even aware how we show up when we let it affect us. Yeah.
Mhm.
So again, awareness, which is why we are talking about this. And actually it's helping me a lot right now to reconcile with what I'm feeling that could influence the way I show up as well. Just talking about it with you.
Yeah, actually, and while we were talking about that, it just uh, a latest instance probably crossed my mind, wherein I was working on a project and I was not happy with the outcome and how people not responded to it as expected. So I was disappointed because I didn't get the kind of response I wanted, and I worked really hard in that project. So I was just not happy about it, and I was just keeping it to myself, not sharing it with anyone. And we understand that it is told to us that uh, expressing emotion is a sign of being vulnerable, and being vulnerable is weak, right? So
Mm.
that also can detract our engagement. So I was going through it, and I just happened to decide that, okay, I am not going through it alone. I'm not going to bottle myself up with this emotion. I'm going to let it out and share with my manager. I shared with her, and I told her that I'm totally disappointed with the way I've got the response. I just wanted to let you know that I worked hard. I'm disappointed, and I have my learnings as well. But all in all, I just wanted to let you know. And I was so amazed the way she appreciated that. Usually people don't come up and talk about these things. They may get angry, or they may just, hold grudge against people who have not responded well to their project critical. But you have spoken about it, and you know that what you have to do next. Just let me know whenever you need the support. It went really well. And that's when I understood the importance of expressing it probably in a proper way.
Yeah, this form of communication is so important, right? It really helps to break down barriers. It really helps to improve our understanding of each other. It really fosters a really good environment and relationship in the long run. And I'm so glad that you brought this up, as a way of closing our session today. Yeah, so today we've already covered three main influences. The next week, we're going to talk a little bit more about the remaining ones. And yeah, so everybody, this is our Tea Time Thursdays. We're going to round up today, and we'll hope to see you next week again. Remember, it's Thursdays, and I don't have a cup right now. I'm going to give enjoy the rest of your week, and I hope you really enjoyed
I just
our
would like
session.
to add one more point, though,
Yes,
Kelly,
yes.
here. So, anyone who's watching it, we just would like to understand from you, from
Mm.
whatever we have spoken today about these three factors. Just let us know in the comment section that what have you recently come across, or amongst all these three factors, which you probably were not aware of it, or maybe aware of it, not necessarily paying attention to it as much. So our effort was to try and make you understand that how important it is to be
Mm.
aware of it and also acknowledge.
Right.
So
Yeah.
let us know what is it that you have faced of late amongst
Yes,
these three.
please.
And like Kelly said, yeah, these three factors. So
Yeah.
like Kelly said, we are coming up with next three. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Just remember to like, subscribe, share, and comment below. We're open. Just flood us with any questions regarding the topics that we talked about so far. Have a great week,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you. Thank you, Priyanka. See you. Talk to you again.